Nadia, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks so much for having me, Joe. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh my goodness, I'm so looking forward to this because it's not a normal episode for the Rewild Your Business podcast. We're going off piste and I love it. I love it. I'm really excited for this. How about you start us off by just sharing a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, perfect. Thanks so much. So I'm Nadia, as you just mentioned. I changed my life a few years ago, and I moved from corporate world into full-fledged supporting other women in living what I call the intentional life and moving away from the should life. And I have a signature program and I use a number of tools. And my real focus is to support women in really gaining a self-awareness and making choices for themselves. So you said that we're going off piste. Today I'm bringing you one of the tools that I use for self-awareness. And do you want to share what we're doing, Jill, or should I give it away?
Oh, go on, you do it.
So I'm going to be doing a live human design reading for you.
Literally beyond. To be honest with you, some of my close circle will already be anticipating this episode because I've already said, you'll never guess what I'm doing on the podcast soon.
I love it. I love it.
So some people I know are waiting for this one to come out. But yeah, ever since we first connected, because we met in Paris, didn't we? Originally at the Convo Summit. And ever since we connected after that, I was so intrigued by what you do, particularly this human design piece. And you and I were talking about it. And we, between us, came up with this idea of wouldn't it be fabulous to just do this live reading for the podcast? And I'm just in love with this idea. I'm really excited for it.
I'm very excited. And I'm going to mention actually the moment that we met a bit later on when I speak about a strategy that fits to mind. But yeah, we'll save that for a bit later.
Ooh, I love it. I love a teaser. Okay. Shall we begin before we get into reading my human design? Could you just, for anyone who's listening who really doesn't know anything about human design, who doesn't know what it is or how it might benefit them, can you just give us a quick summary, really, of what it is?
Yeah, I'm glad that you asked that because people hear human design, or at least I know the first time I heard human design, I was like, oh, what's that? Sounds a bit woo-woo. Is that really for me? But actually, I love it. So yes, good place to start. So we're all on the same page. So I actually studied quantum human design, which is a modern evolution of traditional human design. The language is a bit more empowering and forward focused. We won't really be talking about shadows and limitations today. We're going to be talking like if you're living in your highest expression, what becomes possible for you when you're truly aligned. And human design, my teacher, Dr. Karen Curry Parker, she really describes it as you should consider your human design as a map of you. So what we're going to go through is really like how you should use your energy, how you should use your energy to best communicate, to best move through this world, are all conditioned. It doesn't matter, how much work you've done on yourself. Every single one of us is conditioned simply because of the way that we live today as humans. So yeah, human design and quantum human design is really like, this is who you were born to be. This is a map of you. And to help you really reconnect with that. So as I mentioned in the beginning, I really use it as a self-awareness so that you can understand maybe if you're second-guessing yourself a lot or you are experiencing that burnout, overworking, maybe it's because you're trying to run your business, your life, in an energy that was never meant for you. So you're working against yourself as well as everything else that's out there.
Yeah.
Right? So
which makes so much sense when you say that. Especially when I think about, I've done so much work around intuition and using that, which is another kind of self-awareness piece. But it almost, and tell me if I'm wrong, but it almost feels like human design is a slightly different angle on intuition, I guess.
Absolutely. And I think they really overlap a lot. So in human design, there's a body graph, which I'm not sure if you'll be able to share, like what it will look like, or if you can do your body.
Yeah, we can definitely put that. Perfect. Yeah, we can share that for sure.
But you'll see that there's different channels, and there's one that's the sacral, And you have your sacral defined, which I'll discuss a bit later on. But that's really where your intuition and your gut lives. Listening to yourself is part of your journey and it's part of your energy and really acting on those things that feel good to you. So there's definitely an overlap.
I really got that feeling as you were talking then that, yeah, this feels like another step on that intuitive journey for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, that's so helpful just to really outline what human design is and why it matters for us and how it can benefit us to have that level of awareness. So that I think what brought it to life for me was when you said, if you can work with your energies, your natural energies and the directions that you were built to move in, it's like an end to one layer of challenge, if you like.
Right.
Because we have a lot of challenges in life. Yeah. If we can minimize any of them, that's a good thing.
Yeah. And a lot in our own way, right? So if we have to work best with ourselves, we're already setting ourselves up for success.
Yeah, exactly. I am beyond
Are you ready?
ready. I am so beyond ready. I'm so excited.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's a lot of layers to human design. We're going to really start with the foundation today. So I'm going to go over your chart, your strategy, your authority, and your profile. So anyone who knows about human design, that will definitely ring a bell. And if you don't, we're going to go through it. So we're all going to be on the same page at the end of the day.
Perfect.
Or at the end of this episode. And so I'm going to go through your chart. I'm going to pick out some bits that I think are really important. I think the listeners might be really interested. But I do want this to feel like a conversation. So jump in at any time. Let me know, if something really lands with you, if it maybe doesn't feel right. Another thing that I always like to say when I do readings is your human design chart, some things you might say, yes, this is absolutely me. Other things you might still be evolving into that. So it might not resonate right now, but, it might stay in your mind and it might come up. And also, although this is a map to you, human design should definitely never be used as a reason to not do or to do an excuse to do or something. It's a use it in your best way. Okay, and with that, I won't keep you waiting any longer. Okay, so the foundation of human design, your type. In quantum human design, you are what's called a time bender. So you'll know that as a manifesting generator. So you were right. We had a little tap before there. So you said, I think I'm a manifesting generator.
I think I am.
Yes.
I think that's what I came out as when I ran it through some kind of online thing.
And confirm that you are.
Okay.
And, the language is quantum human design. Time bender. And this is very different from a manifestor and very different from a generator. You are a blend of both of those. And just a fun fact, about a third of the population are manifesting generators or time benders. And
so how many types are there altogether? Is it the 3?
There are 5.
Okay.
I'll tell you in traditional human design, most people know there's the manifestor, the generator, the manifesting generator, the projector, and the reflector.
Got it. Okay.
The last one, I think about 1% of the population is that. So it's very rare.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
But you are a very extraordinary person, as I'm sure you already know.
Am I? Well, I had a suspicion, Nadia.
So let me tell you what makes you different from a regular generator. So you're a hybrid manifestor part generator. And what that means is you have both the manifesting energy and the generating energy. There's a direct connection in your chart from your sacral that I spoke about before. And we can consider that like your engine, the real where the life force and energy really lives.
Okay. Yeah.
And you've got a connection in your chart from that life force energy all the way to your throat, which is your center of expression and creation. Share about communication.
That is true.
So what this means is you're not just here to build things, but you can actually initiate them and create momentum in a way that, for example, I'm a pure generator, might not be able to do or might struggle more to do and get burnt out on the way. So you're likely to be a lot faster than a generator, probably someone who's pretty multi-passionate, so you can hold multiple things at once.
Oh my goodness. Do you know what?
That is funny. Nodding.
You say yes. And you know what's funny about that? Anyone who's in my community, the Wild Way, will know that when we were setting our intentions at New Moon, just gone, I shared with the community that at the moment I seem to have so many different projects on the go, work-wise, but also personally. I've got so many different projects and passions and things on the go, but I'm not feeling overwhelmed by that. I'm feeling like I literally have energy for all of them. So for you to say that, that's very validating that, yeah, actually that
Yeah.
is perhaps something that
Yeah.
works for me to be able to do
You
that.
are, by design, that's how you were designed to move. Many things on the go. And when you're in flow, so I'm glad you said that you weren't overwhelmed, because when you are in
Mm.
flow, and this is why you're called a time bender, you can bend time. You can genuinely get more done than is humanly possible.
I cannot even explain to you how much sense that makes to me because, and don't get me wrong, I'm not always in that flow. So it's
Yeah.
not 365 days a year I'm getting more done than is humanly possible. But when
Yeah.
I get into a period like I'm in at the moment, honestly, the level of productivity that I can have in a single day is off the charts.
Yeah.
And it's not all the time, but in moments of pure flow that I feel like I'm in at the moment, it's just crazy. So that makes so much sense.
Yes. No, absolutely. And you move faster and you find effective ways because you likely find shortcuts. You might skip a few steps and go ahead, but that isn't a flaw. That's actually what you're designed to do. You need to take that leap. You need to go ahead. And there's sometimes you might find that, oh, I missed something. I need to go back. And that's okay. That's not a mistake. That's the way that you're designed. You're designed to move as fast as possible in the fast forward and potentially go back. And you will use all of your experiences to continue finding those ways forwards in a quick way. So it's never a mistake. And I don't know if anyone's ever told you, Jill, you need to pick one thing to focus on.
They've tried.
You're doing too much. Yes.
Good luck with that.
That advice was never, ever meant for you. You are by design here to one thing at a time.
It's really interesting because if you were to look back on the blog on my website, and I'm talking about going back years, this blog, one of the first blog posts I ever wrote on that, and it's honestly, if you were reading it now, you'd be like, that isn't really a blog post, Jill. It's like at best an Instagram caption. But back then I was like, I got to 200 words, I'm done. But it's about how when I was a child, my mum always called me a flimflammer because I was always starting things and not always seeing them through. So I would have tons of things on the go, but I would jump from one hobby to another or one passion to another. And even now people will say, oh God, what's the latest craze? You know, what are you doing now? And for a long time, I would beat myself up about that. So because I would listen to that, oh, I'm such a flimflammer, I'm so flaky, or I don't do this. But over the last few years, really when I've done a lot more work on myself, I've realized it's not a weakness. It's that number one, I'm brave enough to try different things, to be experimental, to jump from one thing to another when I feel called to do that. So it's really interesting to hear you say that actually that's how I'm designed. That's me. When I was fighting that was fighting the natural design of who I am.
Absolutely.
And now that I allow it to just be, allow myself to take on lots of different projects and to pick up things and put down things when it feels right. It's really validating to hear that. It feels good to hear that.
I'm so glad that really resonates and that it gives you something and it feels good. Two things came out of what you just said. One, the human design as a self-awareness tool is very powerful. Because you could have easily listened to your mom, listened to those people around you and listen probably to that voice in your head being like, Jill, we need to focus on one thing. We can't just be doing all of these things. And you could have very easily done that. A lot of people do. It's the easier route. You don't have to have people telling you what to do and you shouldn't be doing that. But as you said, you were fighting against yourself. So that eventually you can do that for a certain amount of time. Eventually you're going to burn out. You're not going to feel good. You're going to be miserable. So I love that you've really resonated here. And another thing, your 200-word blog / Instagram caption, that was you bending time. I'm a blogger with 200 words. You've leaped to, this is who I am. So there's your time bender in action.
Oh, that's so interesting. Do you know what's really funny about the thing you said about the shortcuts as well? Because that's landed with me. This is something I do all the time, right? I will watch it, say like a YouTube video, but I only really want to watch the bits that I'm looking for. So I will literally move that cursor ahead, trying to find the bit that is relevant for me. And then you know what you said about then having to go back? Because I will do that all the time. And then I'll get to the end of the video. I'm like, that didn't really make sense. I'm literally going to have to go back and listen to the whole.
I love
I do that all
much.
the time.
And that's cracked me up. My husband's also a manifesting generator or a time bender. And we'll be watching episodes and he wants to skip. And he's like, this bit's boring. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's part of this show. Let me watch it.
Oh my God.
He and I would be able to have a good,
we would be able to have a good, we would get through so many Netflix episodes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's
I'm slowing him down.
Dave does with me. Dave's like, what? But if you fast forward it, we're not going to know what's going on. I'm like, nothing's going on. That's the problem.
Yeah. He's like, Bernie, you said that bit. Writer should have written it out. I'm like, okay.
Brilliant.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, this is good. This is really good because it's making so much sense.
I love that. So another really important thing about manifesting generators or time benders that I think maybe is not so well known is that potentially you have what is called a non-verbal creative flow. So this might feel like you often know how to do something. You can feel how to do something. You can feel that path. You know how to execute it. But if you have to explain that to other people, it might be a bit more challenging.
Oh my goodness. My jaw is literally dropping. So I really want to share something with you where this is so true in my business. And Kristen, if you're listening to this, you're going to be like, yes, Nadia, yes, tell Jill this. Because my VA, Kristen, there are so many things that she says, you know, she'll say, well, why are you not, I could be doing that for you.
Yeah.
And it's because I know how to do it. I know what I want done. I know all of the steps. I totally understand everything about it. Can I get myself into the headspace of being able to explain it to her? Or can I carve out the time to explain it to her? No. So I just do it myself.
Yep.
And it frustrates me. It frustrates her. But that's interesting. And I'm really being mindful now of what you said at the beginning, but this is not an excuse for me to say, oh, I don't have to do that then because it's just my human design, Kristen.
Right.
But it is interesting. It's like useful just to know that though.
Yeah, I think so. And you spoke about your intuition at the start. That's because you have those instincts. You know how to do it. And that makes more sense to you than defining the logical steps and explaining to someone else. You just said, though, it's good to know because then you could pick your battles, as they would say. Okay, this is worth me handing off to you. So I'm going to take the time. Even though this is a headache for me, I'm going to write down the steps. I'm going to explain it to you in the best way that I can. Other things, you might just want to keep. It makes sense to you. It feels good. You can do it easily. Do it.
Yeah, and not beat myself up about that. And
exactly.
I'm sure there are things that I can think of even now that would fall into both of those categories. There are definitely some things that I really do want to carve out the time and create the SOP or whatever, I need to do so that someone else can do that task. And there are some, I'm not going to lie, there are some things that honestly, I just don't mind doing them and it comes naturally. So I'll probably just hold on to them. Yeah. Really interesting.
So that's a bit about your type, a bit of an insight. And then there a bit where we don't have all day. People are listening to us. So I'm going to move on to your strategy.
Okay. All right.
So even though you have that manifesting power within you and that energy, your strategy is still to respond. So you are designed to wait for life, the universe, other people to bring something to you and respond when that shows up. I remember I told you I was going to speak about when we met in Paris.
Oh,
I'm a
yeah.
generator, and my strategy is also to respond. So I went to one of your
Okay.
sessions in Paris, which is how we met. And at one point, you said, and I don't know if you remember this, you said to the whole room, I'm inviting you all to collaborate with me, but I bet most of you won't take me up on that offer.
Yeah, I
And when
did.
you said
Yeah.
that,
And I was right.
but when you said that,
Mm.
I hadn't really processed it yet. My brain didn't know, but like almost immediately, my sacral, which is also the engine I was talking about, which is also
Yep.
defined, said, we're awake. This is something that we need to respond to. This is an actual invitation, the universe by Jill, that you need to respond to. And that's why I'm here today. I followed up. You said yes.
You did.
And we're on the show. So
And
that's strategy
honestly,
in action.
I've recorded some really interesting conversations with a few women, all women that responded that were in the room. But there were a fair few people in that room and they didn't. And it's so interesting, isn't it? So, because straight away I'm thinking, I wonder what their human design was, that they're in a session called Relationships Over Algorithms. But yeah, they're not choosing to act. Interesting. But you did. So that was a great example of it. That was the responding. You felt it and you took action.
Exactly. So this is, and the sign, what you're responding to needs to make sense to you. So it doesn't need to make sense to anyone else, to you. And it could be something as silly as, I really want to go on holiday. And instead of jumping on the laptop and booking a trip, you might look out the window and see a plane flying by, and you take that as your sign. So it does to be like someone like you saying, I invite you to collaborate with me. It could be as little or as big as you need, but you'll notice that something in you like that, and you're responding to something that makes sense.
I really relate. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I can really relate to that. So, for example, I make really quick decisions.
Yep.
And I think that's because I make them intuitively. But one thing that's just come into my mind as you said that is that I don't often seek out the next project plan. I'm not the person who's Googling what will my next hobby be or what I respond. So literally I'm an advertiser's dream, Nadia, because I will respond if something hits me. Here, I am the person who is literally signed up to I'll give you an example. Recently, I signed up for a past life regression therapy course.
Wow.
Now, I know nothing about past life regression. I have a Gaia subscription. I was watching some of the series on there and I just thought, that looks freaking fascinating. I want to know how to do that. I'm interested in that. That is calling to me. So straight away, I take action on it. And that is part of that design, isn't it? That I'm responding to things. I wasn't good past life regression therapy.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So interesting.
I had a very similar thing with human design itself. I had heard of human design,
right.
And within the space of 2 months, 5 different people brought it up to me. So that was my sign of, okay, I need to follow up on this. That sounds really interesting. It sounds fascinating. I need to know more about this. So it's kinds of things. And you attract what you put out into the world. Maybe you were looking for something without even realizing maybe an energy, and that's the sign that you're responding to. So yeah, absolutely.
Because it doesn't happen all the time. It's not like everything I watch I'm signing up for, but it will tend to be if something really calls to me.
Yeah.
I trust that, but it does tend to be in response to something rather than me researching or exploring what might be the best option. It tends to be me responding. And that is very interesting.
That's you protecting your energy in real time.
Yes. And that's exactly why I do it. That's exactly right. I don't have the time and energy to maybe be quite as intentional as some people might be.
And that manifesting energy that you have as part of the manifesting generator, sometimes you might be pulled to initiate things right off the bat and not wait for that response. And usually that's when you're either going to drop them, as you mentioned in the beginning, you had a lot of things going on and some you put down, or you're going to burn out if you really go against it. Because when you're responding, that's what allows you to move really fast. And that's where your magic really lives.
Gosh, that's really landed with me because, and I think that's something that maybe in the past I've criticized myself for.
Yeah.
And it's quite nice to have this feeling of, but what if that's how it should be for me?
Yeah.
In fact, that is how it should be for me. And therefore that is okay.
Yeah.
Because we're so
Give
quick to
yourself a
criticize
break.
ourselves, aren't we?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Ooh, okay, that's good.
So that's your strategy.
Got it.
Respond. Now your authority. Let me just go to your authority. So as I told you in the beginning, you have your sacral defined. What that means is when you'll see it in the chart, it means it's colored in. And when it's open, it's white.
Okay.
So that's just when you put up the chart for anyone who doesn't know. So that means that your authority is, and that's basically what your built-in compass is, right? Is evolutionary authority. So you have that sacral authority. And this determines the way that you should use your strategy. Perfect. So we just spoke about your strategy, and that is your unique way of making decisions and taking action. Now, your authority is the way that you should determines how to use your strategy.
Okay.
So that's sacral authority in traditional terms. And this is one of the most powerful authorities to have, especially, I think, as a business owner.
Ooh.
So that sacral that you've got defined, and I'm touching my stomach, but you can't see that because that's where it lives, really, like your gut, like the fire burning inside you right here. That's where this lives.
Yes.
And that acts as your compass. Your mind, your body probably feels something before your mind is really caught up.
Always.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you've definitely experienced this if you're considering launching a new offer, a new collaboration. I know that you've just launched a new community. I'm sure that sacral was screaming at you, let's go, before your mind is caught up.
Absolutely. And I think about this with my intuition in that so when something is a no for me, I always feel it down in that gut, down there. It's a sinking feeling. And when something's a yes for me, I feel it up here. It's like in my heart space and it's yes. So I think I am very used to knowing what a no and a yes feel like in my body. So that makes sense to me.
Amazing. So that is your authority. Listen to that. And your instinct does live down there in the sacral. So like you said, before you've even properly analyzed something, you're going to have that feeling that's either like, yes, this is it, or like a flat. For some reason, you're pulling away and you might not even know why at that time.
Yeah.
But listen to that because that response in your body, that is your truth. And you don't need to overthink it. You don't need to sleep on it. You don't need to make a pros and cons list. And that feeling is guidance. And a lot of, because we're conditioned, have really learned to quieten that sacral and don't trust it. And when you don't trust it, it gets quieter and quieter. So I'm sure loud, you know what
mine
shouts.
to do. Mine's a bit shouty.
Well, that's amazing. It's a weight. It's living.
But that doesn't mean
that.
And what's interesting though is that doesn't mean that I don't ever override it. And it never ends well. Never ends well. I have a phrase that I say to myself all the time now, which is trust the niggle. Yeah. Because you know when you get a niggling feeling that something isn't right and then you override it, it'll be fine. You're overreacting or you're being silly or you're being too suspicious or you're being this.
Yeah.
And I now always remind myself, trust the niggle. Yeah. Trust the niggle.
Yeah.
And that's important for me now.
That is something I was going to say because we do often overwrite it and say, no, we're going to do this. And usually it will turn out the way that you first originally felt.
Yes, so true.
It will probably turn out a bit, it might not be a terrible thing, but it's probably going to drain your energy. You're not going to be extremely happy with the result. People might tell you need to be rational, you need to be strategic, be logical. All of those things already live in you. So your authority in your strategy is really trust that gut. When you get that response, what's your gut saying? What's that? Is it in your case shouting at you? Yes, let's go for it.
Yeah.
Or not. And that's really what you need to listen to. And I would love to share a quick tip for any listeners who maybe have a quieter sacral than we might have. So it's really, when do you need a yes or a no? Just notice what happens inside the body. And a trick that I use, especially if I'm feeling a bit tired or it's been a while since I've had to make a decision, so I'm just like warming my sacral up again, is ask yourself really simple questions. Like, is the sun shining today? Are we experiencing a heat wave? Am I wearing glasses? I'm not wearing glasses. So that would be like, no. And see how those simple questions feel in your body. Yeah. And then just throw in that you need answering and see what reaction comes up.
Simple practice, but so worth mastering and getting in a habit of doing that too. Yeah, I could not agree more. And I think you're right. I think so many of us have disconnected from listening to or feeling into what a yes or a no feels like in our body. So thank you for sharing that, because I love that. And I love the simplicity of that practice too.
No, absolutely. Thank you for me this space.
Oh, of course.
Okay, moving on to your profile. I know we're on time. So your profile, this is what your role in the world is. So your profile, and human design people will ask you what your profile is. So you can say, I'm a 5-1.
Oh,
okay. So what is a 5-1?
I'm writing it down. Mean? I know you're going to send me my chart anyway, but I'm writing it down. 5-1. I'm a 5-1. Don't you know?
So when I've read this, you're 5-1. It, from the little that I know of you, it really made sense. So the line 5 is a visionary leader. So this is one of the most magnetic profiles that exist in human design. So what people project onto you, before they've had a full conversation with you, they will look at you, sense that you might have the answers, that you might be able to guide them, that you can see something that they can't see yet. So I think
that's why I became a coach.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense for your audience, for your client. They have an expectation of who you are and what you, before you've even had a lot to say. And this is an amazing gift. I'm also a visionary leader. And it's also a real responsibility, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And part of that gift is you don't have to convince people to work with you. Your presence, the way you show up, does that for you. Your content calls people in. But the bit that I think is that responsibility and living your intentional life, when you show up as yourself fully without performing, that's when people are going to respond to you.
Oh,
and the responsibility is living what you teach.
Yes. Oh, Nadia, do you know why that really lands with me? And that is because the worst moments in my, I was going to say life, work, life, both of the same for me.
Yeah.
The worst moments are when I become aware that I've said something or done something that isn't as radically authentic as it could have been. And it's funny because that responsibility of, I believe with every bone in my body that we all have a responsibility to show up as the most transparent and truthful version of ourselves. So when I do something or say something that is more performative, that's a little bit more conditioned because I want a specific outcome or I want a specific reaction, or it feels so crap to me. It makes me feel and that is probably the only time in my life when I will go into overthinking mode, is if I feel like I've said or done something that isn't as honest or as authentic as it could have been.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Especially that having that responsibility, that if people are going to respond to me in that way, I need to make sure that the way I'm showing up is.
Yeah. And in your highest expression, people won't just learn from what you say, but they'll shift just by being in your presence, because they're learning from you just by you being.
That's powerful. That's really powerful. What is actually quite amazing for me with this experience of having this read for me is that nothing you've said to me has taken me by surprise or shocked me, which
Yeah.
feels really,
Yeah,
it feels like,
absolutely.
oh my goodness,
Yeah.
of course that's how I'm designed. And of course that's why certain things make sense to me and why other things maybe don't.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I've
Mm,
had that a lot with a lot of the reading. People aren't shocked, but it's like a wake up moment of, oh, yeah, that does make sense. And I can do that. And it's at the end of the day, this is you. So it shouldn't be
right.
surprise. But yeah,
Yeah, it is just, it's taking me a minute. I think I'm going to really enjoy going through the report as well because
yeah,
it's
there's a
like
lot of information I'm sharing.
I just want to know everything. If there was one thing that you would say to someone after, and I know this hasn't been a full reading, we
Yes.
can't go into every nook and cranny in one episode. But if you were going to give someone a parting word about how they can make this meaningful for themselves, what would that be?
Yeah. I would say show up very much as you have with an open mind and open heart,
Mm,
ready to listen. And I know it's a lot of information. So also give yourself compassion too. Let it sink in. Reread, re-listen to this in a few days' time, in a week's time. And maybe something else will come up for you. So I would say use this as a guide, use this
mhm,
as a map, use this as support for you.
mm.
Human design, it's not something that, oh, as you say, this is my human design, so I need to prove yourself right or wrong. No, it's how can I use this to best support me? Let
Yeah.
me go back to it. Let me see what else comes up. And giving yourself that space, permission, time to develop, because also this landed and you're living a lot already of your map. A lot of people are not, and you're not going to change that overnight.
Right. Yeah.
Use it as a guide.
Yeah.
And I love the analogy of a map because when you're going from destination point A to point B, you're not going to get there in a second. So what is the journey to get there? And use
Mm.
the human design to build what that looks like for you, to build that path in the best way to support you. Not rushing. I don't believe in throwing your life out the window and starting all over again. I think small,
Yeah.
intentional decisions that eventually
Yes.
build up to where you want to get. So, yeah, that would be my
I
advice.
love that. I think that's great advice. And I think one thing that stuck with me is something you said at the beginning, which was about how you can identify what is in flow with your human design energy, or what energy flow is in line,
Yeah.
and where you might be fighting against a current, and almost like you said, picking your battles. And actually this is the way I'm designed to look at this, and so of course
Yeah.
that's going to feel in flow for me. And
Yeah.
when something is maybe against the current, it's about looking at it and thinking, does that belong for me,
Yeah.
or is it
Yeah.
time to rethink that? I think that's what I'm going to take away as well, is definitely looking at leaning into the things that come naturally to me or
Yeah.
feel natural for me.
Yeah.
Nadia, this has been so interesting. I'm so grateful. If someone is listening to this and they would like to get in touch with you, because this has lit a spark in them and they now want to know everything about their own human design, or they want to know about your programs and how you work with people, what is the best
Yeah.
way for people to find out about you?
I have a website, so they can visit at www.nadiaadan.com. So my first name and my last name. Easy, simple.
Perfect.
Didn't want to
We'll pop
overthink
that
it.
in the show notes, of course.
Perfect. And then I'm pretty active on LinkedIn as well. So feel free to follow me on LinkedIn and reach out there. And yeah, I would love to help people, support people on their path to their intentional life.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on the show. And
no, thank you for the
honestly, of course. Oh my goodness. It's absolutely my pleasure. And thank you for doing my human design like this, because I do think what an interesting way to explain it by actually making it real. And
yeah,
I'm just so grateful. Thank you very
I
much.
can't wait to share the full report with you and see what you come out with.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if you're listening to this episode and you want to be nosy and find out more about the full report, just email me info@joemoakes.com and maybe I'll share it all with you. Who knows?
I love that.
Thank you
for being
so
so
much,
open
Nadia.
and sharing with everyone. Yeah.
Oh, of course. Thank you so much. And thank you all for listening. I will see you back here again, same time, same place next week. But for now, see you later. And Nadia, thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.